All right. Reporting live from the writer's room, and this is Reliable Narrator, the podcast. I am your host, Dom. Be prepared. Chaotic storytelling. Just my kind of nonfiction. Welcome back to Reliable Narrator. This is episode 3. This episode is for sure for high school Dom and 2016. And
fuck yeah for nostalgia. That's a fucking win for us.
For once in our societal lives, it's not a cringe thing or it's not a bad thing to reminisce and to have nostalgia about the past. Because nostalgia is just simply your mind understanding that you did have a hell of a time and it's okay to miss it sometimes. Love you, Teenage Dom. We're doing something a little bit different for this episode. Today, I'm not going to be pulling from excerpts from my essays or my creative writing pieces. This episode, we're going to be live reacting to some really confessional and honest fiction pieces. I don't consider myself a fiction writer by any means. I don't do that. I'm not a novelist. I can't make up fantasy worlds. I can't. I think I'm just way too grounded for that. My imagination comes from my experiences. Do you know what I mean? So I'll write about that. I write what I know. The nostalgic trend that's going around for 2016 really has got me thinking. I was just entering high school and I kept on thinking about high school. I kept on thinking about me at 15 and at 17 and those just really pivotal years, you know? And although I did graduate during 2020, class of 2020,
love, we didn't have a fucking senior year. I could go on about that.
I've been thinking about high school Dom and just her. And I'm not even talking about the raging teenager I've been talking about for last 2 episodes. I wanted to switch things up a little bit and kind of explore a part of my psyche where I don't really touch base on. It just takes a little bit of more brain power to accumulate those happy, impulsive type of fever dream memories that seem unreal to me, you know, and I still can't believe it. That's why it's kind of hard for me to recall these memories. So whenever I do tap into that side of the past and my inner teenager as an adult, I really hyperfixate on that. And it becomes my entire personality. And if you saw the podcast Instagram story, I literally have a 2016 to I know it says 2018, but it's more 2019. I just have hella fucking songs from high school that either people in high school ruined for me, and in adulthood, I was you know what? No, I am going to fucking listen to them again because they are fucking good ass artists and good ass songs, and why not, you know? Anyways, but that is me in high school. I think that was either the end of freshman year or the beginning or sophomore year. I don't know. I'll put a picture right here. I haven't listened to it in months. And I made that last summer. So we're going to be live reacting, which is actually fucking crazy to me. I've never done this before. So I haven't looked at these pieces in months. I wrote them during the summer. I think just to preface saying the reason why I write about the past is to describe what I wish could have happened. And I've come to realize that I am very obsessed and I am in love with what could have been. And I think that's where the root of yearning and longing comes from, deep within me. I think if I could do my high school years all over again, I definitely would. But again, I don't think I would be where I am today. Little preface about this high school crush of mine. Jesus Christ. It seems so corny and cringy to be talking about him because I'm fucking 23 years old. I know there are people who are
move the fuck on, girl. What are you talking about? You know, why are you bringing this up right now?
For the girls that get it, they fucking get it, okay? You'll understand a little bit more once I start explaining the lore behind this guy. This crush in high school, literally the guy I never got over. Do we ever really get over anything? That begs the question. I mean, total teenage crush for sure. Like, this is the type of shit that you see in the fucking movies, and I never thought that that was real. Just totally like my dream guy, you know? Like, literally, I was reminiscing. I started thinking about, I was thinking about the summer and, teenage years in high school and 2016, and I heard Killer's song When You Were Young. I was listening to that on the way back from New Mexico. That song, I had a fucking epiphany, I swear to God. Music can literally teleport you to a different fucking time zone and lifetime and timeline. So this song is like the way that I picture me and this crush of mine back in high school. Like, if it ever were to happen, if anything were to ever transcribe there between me and this guy, it would totally be this fucking song. Like, these lyrics here. So, in fact, I totally butcher these lyrics. I'm just gonna put them on the screen. And
oh my god, it's like so gut-wrenching.
It's like everything that I envision with this guy is like simply this fucking song. It like lives under a unique environment that like clicked really fucking hard for me. But music literally teleports you to another timeline, even the fiction ones.
I don't make the fucking rules.
This is the crush that like crushed the fuck out of me. So yeah, so this is like the epitome of like high school fucking emotions and hormones, and like everything just feels so intense, and I feel everything so deeply, and
I care so much about everything,
and I still do. Sorry. Because I will forever be a fucking teenage at heart. Like, I genuinely fucking believe that. The good parts only. And about this massive crush of mine, I never said anything to anybody. Like, literally nobody. I kept it to myself for the entirety of high school. I never even told my best friend, Aneley, because she was his best friend in middle school and early high school, like freshman, sophomore year. I knew of him because of Aneley, but I didn't lay my eyes on him until junior year of high school. Some fucking random day in October. And I was 17. He was with his friend, and obviously Aneley was with me. And so they were talking to each other. I think like the friend and him were talking to Aneley, and I just happened to be there, right? I don't even know if Aneley remembers this fucking day. You know what? Hold on. Let's call her. What if she remembers it differently?
Please answer.
I swear to fucking God, Aneley, if you don't fucking answer.
Your call has been forwarded to voice.
Okay, so Aneley didn't answer. We'll circle back. So, in fact, Aneley does remember this day, and thank you so much, Aneley, for confirming these details. Yeah, I just wanted to show you. I was looking back at, my notes and me brainstorming and everything, and I just realized, like, every other high school piece that I've done and I've written, even, like, the drafts, things that I haven't published, I always find myself pulling this crush as the male lead in every single story I tell from high school, fiction-wise.
So let's pull up this substack
essays. I'm actually kind of like, no, I'm nervous. I literally get butterflies in my stomach. Holy shit. Okay. So I have two that I'm going to be mentioning today. I have High School Me Would Die If She Found Out Who I Was Dating Now. And that was from June 13th, 2025. Just a couple of days later, I published on Substack this essay titled, I Just Graduated High School and I Was Sitting Across the Table from My High School Crush. June 13th. So, like I said, I haven't fucking looked at these essays since I wrote them. I did a lot of fucking reminiscing during the summer and hyperfixated on some things. Anyways, so I say, sometimes I daydream about if we were living in an alternate reality where we dated in high school. I spent time suppressing and bittersweetly swallowing all those high school big-time love, crush, real feelings for you. God, you crushed the fuck out of me. I wonder what it would be like if you and I had dated at 17. Sometimes when the temperature of light just is on cool days, particularly in the spring or summer when the sunlight peeks from your bedroom curtains just right, that 10 a.m. afterglow sun, I have you on my chest, on top of my heart. I see a fraction of what could have been. From one channel to the next, there I was at 23 with you on a blissful, slow Sunday morning, and then suddenly it's like normal people, Marianne and Connell, amateur wrestling with the 50-50 concept of first-time access to love. It's a mean dance, really. It takes two. And I see us, our high school selves, skipping class to meet up with each other, secret texts hovering over a history lecture, instantly thrilled, static runs all over my body, tempted to chase this big thing. We ditch only after attending 2 classes. The usual amount we spend at school anyways. We're 17, we can make it all up. All to risk it to get some gas station food. You drink and sometimes spike the 7-Eleven slushies. You pay with your weed money, and I stand there timidly and angelically like Bambi. Probably the only time I had patience was with you. Feeling inexperienced later, you teach me how to skateboard on the Texas heated pavement where I scrape my knees and burn my fingers trying to pick myself up from the falls. We reference and joke vines. I laugh my real laugh, not that shy, obnoxious kind I am used to doing whenever you're not there. It's an affirmation we were both signing up for. Sneaking into each other's bedrooms on holiday breaks at night when my parents are away and I have the house to myself on a summer day.
That was only the first half of this fucking essay.
Even though I see us having a double life in which I don't mind. Friends close to acquaintances under the harsh fluorescent lights between 5th period and lunch. Practically for 8 full, real, dragging hours, I was your stranger. You got your group, I got mine. The intimacy of living in our own oblivious world whenever we wanted was very precious to me. You were very precious to me. But I don't think we would have been able to say I love you. I really don't think so. Maybe it would be on the tip of my tongue if I ever got too high on a random Friday after school. I see myself getting too comfortable at your house with your husky laying in bed with us. It's casual, I'd think. We resume, it's nothing, so our routine continues, or whatever this is. You and I sneaking off during lunch, getting high behind the bakery, drinking Arizona green teas in the tall boy aluminum cans. I notice how we laugh like friends, but I always looked at you in my fever dream state like I was possessed by desire, by this fucking high school real crush, and you would never know a thing. I see us meeting at midnight at the end of July right before school starts up again at a local park to tell me this year might be different. I see you being my first kiss, first time, first everything. You would have probably been my first love. Would we have made it this far? Who knows? All I know is that this little daydream of mine, it belongs to me, no other person, for a reason. It was junior year, for Christ's sakes. I didn't know how to communicate. I knew nothing, so I did nothing. Just there, I was living off of borrowed time, not confident, shy, and inexperienced. I regret my first real kiss. God, it was with a John.
God, could you imagine? Ruined!
Crazy. I wonder if your first time noticing me is the same time I first noticed you. The day you entered my timeline, but there you were on a sunny October afternoon after school in that electrical room with weed breath, skater clothes, and those damn Vans, long hair like Jesus. We were 17, no words exchanged. I think you hardly glanced at me, and for a split second I caught your eye. Right before you looked away, my heart dropped out of me into my hands. I'm pretty sure I made it noticeable. Again, I was 17. I was dramatic. This interaction lasted perhaps 5 seconds, but it felt like 5 minutes, which to me as an impatient teenager was forever. My best friend and I turn a 180 to walk the opposite direction. I ask as I bring her closer to me, hooking my right arm into hers as we walk out of the classroom. Who was that guy? As my cheeks began to spice up and my face was hot. In my head, I instinctively think, my crush. I just saw my first high school real world crush. And boy, did he crush the fuck out of me.
Oh!
I mentioned normal people, and I just pulled out my book here. Dude, look how much I fucking annotated this bitch. I just want to read an annotation, just so you can get an idea of how I used to be back in high school, especially with this one guy. It says, it expressed everything all at once, which is the same as expressing nothing. The way that I used to express myself, either I overshared, I said too much, or I would think that I explained myself correctly, but I said a whole lot, with saying nothing at the same time. Just very frustrating in terms of like communicating with other people. You know what I mean? Like I always expected them to be reading my mind and to be reading my body language and my face, and that would say enough, you know? And I think that's why I like suppressed this crush for such a long time, because I didn't know what I was feeling. Like, again, as a teenager, a Billie Eilish interview that comes up in my mind, she said like, I hate when people say that teenagers don't understand feelings or emotions, but that's all they feel is emotions intensely and so fucking much. Insert that here.
People seem to forget that when you are a child and a teenager, emotion is the most intense thing in the world. Everything feels like the end or the beginning. I was just talking about this with a friend, that like middle school felt like life was over. And that's how everything felt then. And so, you know, to be like, how could anyone young understand emotion? Are you stupid? That's all they have is emotion.
I was so scared of saying the wrong thing, even though I was an impulsive speaker and thinker and doer. I would rather not say anything to risk to say the wrong thing. So I would intentionally choose to do nothing instead of doing at least something. What I was trying to say is that when I felt that I didn't want to risk saying the wrong thing is when I was in relations with certain people. That shit scared the fuck out of me, you know? So like, why risk opening my mouth, because I knew that it's gotten me in trouble multiple times before. Why risk that to jeopardize or to completely kill off this whatever this was? I was impulsive with everybody else, every other person, strangers, even my parents. You know, I didn't think before I spoke. I didn't think before I did anything. I had absolutely no filter. And it burned a lot of fucking bridges, like I've mentioned in other episodes, you know? So whenever I kind of freak out about talking about anything, opening up about anything to certain people, which were only a few in my teenage years, yeah, I just find it really interesting. Anyways, this crush of mine was in a different spectrum of high school. You know what I mean? Like, I was a part of extracurriculars, I was in clubs, and then he wasn't, you know? And he had a life he had a huge social life outside of high school. He was a party guy, and he had his own fucking group of friends that I didn't associate with. And it kind of reminds me also of Breakfast Club. Oh my god, I used to have this Breakfast Club graphic tee that I used to wear all the time. For example, like the way that Marianne and Connell are like different stages of class, right? The way in Breakfast Club, Bender and Claire were on two different sides of class too. Like, he was the bad boy from the wrong side of the tracks, and she was like this pristine little rich girl. And of course, I'm not saying I was Claire or anything. What the fuck? And I'm not saying that he was this crush of mine was like a fucking criminal or anything like that. But I think like of that kind of like dynamic where I felt like I couldn't manage this kind of crush, or to like go for it and to like see what that kind of life, if anything, was there. I didn't even try, right? Because I couldn't relate to his life. Like, how could I? Imagine like Claire with Bender's friends. Like, what? And I think that's why I was so hung up on the idea of creating this like alternate reality with this first essay. I literally wrote an entire world where we only existed. I was inexperienced and he was teaching me. Like, it was more of like a give and take. Now on to the second essay that I have for you all, about 17-year-old me with a fucking massive crush that could kill an elephant.
My second fucking.
Oh my god, this one like really makes me nervous.
Just because these essays are based off of like true, real nonfiction events, but like it's very theatrical of me to like dramatize this nonfiction experience. The way that I remember this interaction, it may not be the same way that Aneley remembers it. Do you know what I mean? Like, she probably doesn't even remember it because it wasn't significant to her, but it was significant to me. Like, that shit mattered to me. The second essay, I had just graduated high school and I was sitting across the table from my high school crush. Those damn dreamy, deep eyes right across from me. Again, this was just days after I wrote the first high school crush essay. I write, occurred the summer of 2020. Teenage me here reporting summer of 2025. And I put this Gilmore Girls quote, I think just to give you all just like a more descriptive tone of this guy. Lorelai says, nothing wouldn't happen to wear a leather jacket and be able to pull off an extremely convincing Adrian. You know. Anyways, I remember how your hands look pre-blue collar, who later comes into fruition. It was like a premonition. And here you are, in the corner of my eye, the closest you've ever gotten. Across the table, we just graduated high school. We were at brunch.
What the fuck is going on?
This is more of like inner monologue that I was like realistically going through. And I was nervous as fuck. I felt like any little thing that I did was an embarrassment. And I was just so fucking nervous.
Holy shit.
Thank God this is a group thing. My group and yours. I thought as I scanned the menu. I had my best friend on the left of me as I kept avoiding eye contact with him. I never once looked his direction, nonetheless have a conversation with this guy. I could never. I just wanted to reach across the table. And he still would not know a thing. For the better, I'd think. Just don't talk to him. I wonder how you kissed. I'm sure other girls, never me, know how he does. I was envious of them, even though I never once saw a girl by his hip around school, but I knew at least there was one. I wanted you to be my first kiss. But most importantly, I wanted to be kissed by him.
Jesus fucking shit.
I think you were high when you walked half-assed stage of graduation. You still looked it across the table. I love how your eyes looked, drowsy and dreamy, hazel brown eyes in my peripheral, especially the way your long Jesus hair fell across the frames of your face. Your facial hair that you grew during the pandemic, it made you look older than you were. And I loved every bit. That tempting, crooked, ever so curled bottom lip of yours, later on I would find out that was from boxing. I really did find my Rocky, huh? I am telling you, this is the crush you never get over. For good-ass reason. His name had a locket around my heart, and it sparked every time you looked at me with those damn fucking eyes, along with burned butterflies in my stomach that would reignite when he says my name for the first time. The first time he also touched me, ever so grazed my skin. My 18-year-old self wouldn't have believed you if you told her that day, post-graduation, a brunch, I would be sitting across from him. Because somewhere deep fucking inside, I knew he would have been. I saw it. I saw it in those droopy, glazed, sweet, deep-set eyes when I first saw you innocently at 17. So I wanted to just add something here because I just saw this when I screenshotted the excerpt. Just the tiniest little detail below the second Substack essay at the end of it. And it's from Gilmore Girls again. And it's a quote from Lorelai. And she says, I've known guys like Jess. He seems cool because he's got this dangerous vibe and this problem with authority. And he's seen a lot of Sylvester Stallone movies. And I cannot picture any other quote that like perfectly embodies this guy that we're talking about here from high school. Crazy stuff. This is editing dumb again. So sorry. Suddenly remembered another Gilmore Girls quote, another scene, and I'll insert it right here. But I just thought it was just hilarious that we're talking about Sylvester Stallone, we're talking about Jess, we're talking about Breakfast Club, and somehow it's all based off of Gilmore Girls. So just imagine this, right? I meet this guy junior year. I don't say anything for 2 fucking years, and I graduated fucking high school, and we're at a fucking, I don't know,
Village Inn.
And he's sitting right across from me. I deadass wanted to walk out of the fucking restaurant. I had a fucking choice. Either I was going to do that and then regret it, right? If anything were to happen. Obviously nothing did. But post-graduation, something did. And that's for another episode. So that is where I leave off here. With the graduation essay, it was a completely different dynamic, right? I was a little bit more timid. It's more inner monologue. I was thinking a lot to myself. It was very streams of consciousness because I didn't understand what the fuck was actually happening. I genuinely did not know that he was going to be attending this fucking brunch or whatever.
Like, to the point, I honestly, genuinely, I don't know
Oh, Aneley. I don't know how the fuck he even got invited. Maybe by Aneley. I have to
confirm with her.
Hello.
Hi, are you busy?
Huh?
Can I ask you like a quick question?
Yeah.
Okay. Do you remember
No. Dude, it's been 6 years. You think I remember what I did 2 days ago? I think I invited him. And
You
I
did.
think you invited me.
Okay, love you.
Love you. Bye-bye.
Bye. It was you, bitch. You are the one that invited him. But how could you know? You didn't know a thing. Marianne and Connell, when they started having their like secret world too, like when they were sneaking around in high school, maybe not like in college or anything like that. Like I think more of like amateur love. Like, and I think I talk about this a lot in like other fiction pieces. And it trickled on to what I'm doing now and why I experience the way that I experience. And I do think that this like high school crush moment that I have and my adult self like exercising that type of freedom and reinforcing that kind of and taking the bull by its horns, rewriting this type of narrative and flipping that on its head. I fixated, like I mentioned, a lot of it as an adult because really it's really fun to play hypothetical. It's really fun to play around with the make believe and the daydreams and just take something nonfiction and make it fiction, and that is just simply you rewriting and writing what could have happened. You know. I am going to see you all in episode 4 when we do talk about maybe this guy, maybe not, maybe this other guy, maybe some other shit from the past. Who knows? But actually, I do have something for you all to look forward to. Obviously, I did January's essay, so I'm going to be talking about that and how that correlates with old pieces of mine. Yeah, so 3 a.m. Winter Blooded, Primal Exorcism. So be on the lookout for that. We'll see if this is the same guy or not. Who knows? Is it? Maybe not. Maybe. Maybe? Anyways. So that was why I wrote what I wrote. That was the lore. That was the drama behind this one motherfucker. This has been your favorite reliable narrator. Mostly. Reporting live from the writer's room. I will see you same time next week.